Hello everybody, welcome to this edition of Lions Pride. I'm Danny Daniels. Good to have you with us. And of course with us today is the head men's basketball coach TJ Rosene. Coach, first thing I noticed looking down this roster, and I said this to Mike Bonner too, this season has the potential to be really special.
Yeah, it's I think we, after winning the NCCA championship last year, it was a special season. We started slow, we finished strong. Had a lot of special seasons, and really they're all special because you have a group of guys trying to accomplish to the highest level they're capable of doing, and it's always special when you do it with good guys. And
yeah.
I'll tell you what, I've just really enjoyed getting to know this year's team so far. I really loved all my teams, but this is just another group of really good guys who want to work hard. I don't know what the roof is yet, but I know that we're gonna have a lot of enjoyment in the process, just because, like you said, they're in the gym working and they care and they want to be good, and they're good people. So I'm just excited about that for the season.
Yeah, that's something we were talking about before we started. Looking off to our left of the glass here, he's got half a dozen players running the floor down here by themselves, so that's always a good sign.
Yeah.
Looking at some of these players, Kendrick Coleman's coming back. He's only a junior and got to be one of the top five.
Actually, Kendrick's a senior.
Is he? Okay.
He's a senior this year, but he is a.
I thought he would.
Yeah, he's a top five guy in the conference. He had a phenomenal year last year. I mean, he would have been top in the country in field goal percentage. He shot like 65% from the field. Took really good quality shots. I don't know if he can shoot 65 again, because we're probably going to ask him to shoot a few more difficult shots than he's typically shot. He's going to have the ball in his hands, and there's going to be a higher focus on him. Elijah was awesome last year, and he was a matchup nightmare for people. And you put Elijah and Kendrick out there, and you kind of pick and choose who you want to guard. And I think people will be keying on Kendrick, a lot more this year. But that could be hard to do if we've got good pieces around him, and I think we do have those good pieces.
Austin Green, Emerson McClung, Derek Vanderver, Nathan Williams, people like that. So you're deep.
We've got 7 really special seniors.
7?
Yeah, Jack Fitzpatrick, Derek Vanderver, Nate, Emerson, Kendrick, and Jack has been he's just been one of our leaders on and off the court. I mean, he's just a guy that he probably looked to play some more minutes this year. He did play a ton of minutes last year, but he played really quality minutes in the tournament. He was really good, but he really brings an element of leadership. I mean, these guys are on the court because they're good, but it always takes a guy that really, pokes and prods to help them be best, and Jack's that guy that leads. So with our 7 seniors, there's talent, there's a ton of character, and there's a ton of hard work in those 7 guys. And so, it's going to be, I hope it's a really special ride for them and an enjoyment. It's probably the toughest schedule we've ever played. Mm-hmm. We have one of the toughest non-conference schedules in the country. We're playing, like 4 or 5 teams that finished in the top 15 last year in Division II. So really, really tough schedule. But we're hoping some seniors that have been through some battles will enjoy those battles.
Okay, what I'm looking at is last season's roster. Yeah. So you tell me the newcomers.
Yeah. So newcomers, we got. Quite a few guys that you never know how it's going to shake out. You never know how it's going to play. But I think Mike is a 4-man for us. Michael Wright, who's 6'4", 6'5", young man that can shoot the ball really well, can post. A really talkative guy on the court. Pleasure to coach. But I think he's a freshman. We got him as a prep school freshman, and I think he's ready to step in and help us, and because he can do so many things on the court, and he has a good level of maturity, and so I expect really big things from him right off the rip. And at the guard spot, Isaiah Wright is a guy that's going to play some backup minutes going to 1 and 2. He's a redshirt freshman for us. Brandon Simpson didn't get a ton of clock last year, but he's a super talented freshman from last year. He's taken huge steps forward, so we're really excited about him as a sophomore. And then down at the post is going to be really interesting because we got 3 hard-working guys, big bodies, but they're freshmen. And so they've been through this battle. So we're really looking forward to those guys And Kyler came from Cambridge High School, the same high school that Emerson came from. He's a really great touch around the basket, good feel. You need to trim down a little bit and get in shape, and he's done that so far in the preseason. Donaldson is a redshirt freshman from Haiti, we spent a lot of time just working through the language barrier last year, but he's done a great job of that. He's a good offensive rebounder, plays hard. And then Jackson Bailey, a freshman from just down the road at Madison County High School, who's just one of those hard-nosed, go-get-it kind of guys. Kind of reminds me of Zach Vess a little bit. So those are our freshman posts down there that, we're hoping all three will step up, but we need at least one of them to step up and play well for us.
All right, I'm going to date myself. Speaking of Oklahoma County High School, I was calling Winder Barrow games when Coach Rosene was playing there, and your dad was coaching.
Yeah, we always enjoyed putting it on Winder Barrow and anybody else around. Those are some great battles we had with Winder Barrow and Madison, like where Jackson came from. And a lot of good basketball in that area, and those sure were some fun days playing for my dad. My dad passed just a couple months ago, as I shared with you, and he's our biggest fan, and he loves these guys, deeply passionate about each one of those players, and just loves spending time with them. And I've already, noticed missing his presence just in the gym, just watching, and even on the phone, just talking about, hey, how's this player doing? How's this young person doing? And, so he's going to be really missed for me this season. Just kind of uncharted waters as far as just having that sounding board, somebody that cares for you, somebody that loves you, somebody that you know has got your back, your biggest fan, and these guys' biggest fans. So, it'll be a different season for me. I'm sure, just to have not done that without him. I love the journey with him, and it'll be a new journey.
Tell you what, you're not going to find any better than Bob Rosene. And I know we don't need to talk about that too much.
Yeah.
Because I can see your eyes.
Yeah.
Something I should already know. How many 20-plus seasons have you done in a row?
It's a good question.
7?
No, 10 at least.
Oh, okay.
It's either 10 or 11.
Oh, good.
But we've won 10 years in a row. And, that's such a bar. And one of the things that gets hard is when you set the bar high. People are so used to us winning. And one of the things you got to do is just level set with these young men. Like, I don't know if we'll win 20 again or not. All you can expect for them is to go out there. And history's awesome. I'm so thankful for all the people that have won 20 and continue to pour into our program. But this is a new journey in itself, and we sure didn't schedule this year to win 20. We scheduled with the thought of how can we play the best competition in the country and find out what it's like to be there. I mean, we're going out to Hawaii. We're playing Western Oregon, 31-2, who was number 2 in the country. We're playing Queens in our opening game, who went to the Final Four. Valdosta State, who won the Gulf South and finished top 15 in the country. I mean, so if you look around our schedule, like we're going after it. I mean, we're playing some big dogs and some really good teams, and so I'm not thinking about 20. I'm just thinking about like how to become one of the best teams in the country, and you can't figure that out until you play the best teams in the country.
Well, in Hawaii, I think it's really important that those games be on the website.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I mean, how can our fans not see Hawaii? I think we should do some behind the scenes on the beach, all that kind of stuff. And really, it's it was one of those things that people might not know this, but my dad was actually in Hawaii with his basketball team when I was born, and so one of our last conversations was with him in the hospital, and he was struggling, and I was deciding, should we go to Hawaii, because obviously there's a huge price tag, and we have to raise that money, and so I was concerned with, gosh, how long is it going to take to raise this money, and how much effort is it going to take to raise this money? And my dad said, gosh, you got to go. You got 7 special seniors, and they've done so much for this program. You got to do something special for them. He said, don't worry about it. It'll work out. And sure enough, like, we just had people step up and support our program and make it possible where we're not even having to worry about that fundraising. And so I'm just excited to go and sit on the beach with these guys and talk and have conversations, and excited to play the competition too.
All right, so if you need play-by-play, you know
Gotcha.
where I am.
Gotcha.
All right, anyway, you don't have 20-plus win seasons 10 years in a row without good people. I'm starting either my 5th or 6th season broadcasting your ball game, and you've had some really good kids here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I was, 6 a.m. this morning, I was on the road recruiting, and I told the young man, I said, hey, listen, I can sit here and tell you everything about Emmanuel College, but there's just one real simple way to decide whether it's a good program for you or not. Just come spend the night with us. Hang around my guys. You don't play with those guys, I don't know what you're looking for, because our guys are that special and they're that good to be around, both on and off the court. And so, and that's a tribute, honestly, to Danny. You've seen so many of these guys come through, and it's a tribute to those guys, because all these seniors were raised by some other senior and some other junior, and it trickles down. And when you start having good people raising good people, you can do some special things. And I've had amazing coaches here too. A new addition, Derek Herbert, this year, who's going to be awesome. Just loves our guys, and Graham's been with us for forever since his playing days. And I don't know if there's a better person in the country at connecting with people. Like, he just builds these bonds, and they just love him. And then we've had Derek Mason and Micah, who were both top-notch, world-class teachers, caring about the guys. And so hopefully what we do trickles down to them. But once those seniors get it and they trickle it down and it continues going on down, like you can build some really special stuff. And we're thankful and grateful for players that have bought in and believed in those type things. Culture matters, relationships matter, people matter, effort matters, and that's when you get that kind of environment. And couldn't be more grateful to be working in that kind of environment on a daily basis.
You were on the road at 6 o'clock this morning recruiting, and you've been here a while. Has recruiting changed? Is it easier now to bring kids to Emmanuel with the new facilities and stuff?
Yeah, I asked that question a lot, and gosh, I wish I knew how to better answer it. I think that first, we're prayerful in our recruiting, just that the Lord will present the right people for us, because Emmanuel's not for everybody, and that's okay, but for the right people, it's a great college, a great basketball experience, phenomenal faculty, staff. Like, there's so many good things about Emmanuel, but it's not for everybody. And so I think a big part of recruiting has always been just finding the right fit. A lot of times I think people go after all the best players, and we've got good players, but we've also turned away a lot of players we could have had, to make sure we get the right guys, the right people for our program. And so that's the hardest part for me, is ciphering through, are they the right fit? Are they the person that we're looking for? And so that's always been, from 15 years ago to today, has always been the hardest part for me, is because that's our family, and I don't want to bring somebody into our family, that doesn't fit, that won't help us be better people. And so that is one of the harder things, is getting to know so many people and so many kids out there. And recruiting has changed in the sense that, we're going to get 100 emails today from recruiting services and recruits that want to come play. And that's different than when you just went and watched them in high school games and things like that. So you have access to more people all over the world. That has changed. But I do think when you have a beautiful facility and new dorms that they've built, and you can walk them into a winning tradition, and then you can introduce them to young people like that, I do think that you have something that allows you to find the right guys. And I think all of those things, a combination of all of those things, have helped us continue to raise the level of our program.
The scouting services give you numbers, but you're talking about recruiting. You look for chemistry first. I mean, without chemistry, it doesn't matter how many points they score.
Yeah. It's finding that right group of players that fit together and are on a mission and are passionate about being successful. That's not an easy thing to do. And you're right, chemistry is super important. I think one of the things is, over the years, is we have not traditionally started real well.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that gets better. Every year I'm hoping that gets better. We're always looking into ways to start better. But I think part of that is just, laying the foundation brick by brick. We don't take shortcuts to get to that spot. And part of that is the chemistry, getting everybody to understand their role and how they best serve the team. Because any person that comes and plays college basketball, or any sport for that matter, you know, especially in college, they're used to averaging a lot of points. They're used to taking a lot of shots. And then you ask young men to be selfless and to sacrifice things they haven't had to sacrifice before. And that's a process to get to that place. And a big part of that chemistry is role identification. And after you've identified roles, getting people to buy into their roles so that everyone's complementary and everybody does the best they can for the team. So that chemistry part is huge, and it takes time to build that, and we're always looking for ways to build it faster, but there are sometimes no shortcuts to it.
When's the season start? And
Yeah.
you just talked about starting slow in the past, and you just told me you got a really tough non-conference schedule. So
Yeah, I mean, look, I've never in our best seasons or our worst seasons not faced adversity. So the one thing I'm sure that's coming this season is adversity. And we welcome adversity because we know that it's a part of a championship process. And, you know, starting off, you know, open up with, you know, top 5 teams in the country, right? And then playing this tough schedule. Is there the chance that we could, you know, go through the grinder, get a little tired? Is there a chance that we could lose our confidence in one of those games? Is there a chance that all those things are possible, but all those things are overcomable as well? And that's what we plan on doing. And so in the scheduling process and scheduling those teams, you know, I just believe in our ability to overcome adversity. And I felt like we have a group of young men who's been through it, and they would be up for this challenge.
all right, thanks for your time, and again, we look forward to this season, and I can't wait for that first home game.
Yeah, me neither. And just thanks to all of our fans. Thanks to you, Danny, to just come out and support us and make the experience better for our athletes. We're excited to put on a good product of kids that are going to play hard together and kids that are easy to root for.
All right. Head Coach TJ Rosene from the men's basketball team. We'll see you next time here on Lions Pride.